So, welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at this very beautiful wooden box set from Supervision. Supervision is a Chinese brand, and this is a set with 24 half pans. The brand itself, they say their colors are artist grade, but I often find that they have to use some kind of fillers because some colors with normally complete transparent pigments are opaquish. The feeling that there is some white in it which isn't listed, so there have to be some fillers in it. And for me personally, or normally it is said that fillers is not used in artist but in student grade paints. So I wouldn't personally say that those are artist grade. Because of that, they also use a lot of not light fast pigments, and the light fastness rating is often not correct. So that is something to keep in mind. The set itself is absolutely beautifully designed. We have all the information printed on the label of the half pans. We have the name in different languages, and on the sides we also have the information about the pigments, the transparency, and the light fastness rating. They also made the label a sticker, so you can cut off the areas and put it on the sides, which I will do now with one on the camera, and the rest I will do off camera, just because it will need a lot of time and definitely isn't something which is super interesting to see me struggling to cut off all the pieces. Those are wrapped in plastic, which I personally don't like at all, just because it is plastic. You already have the sticker over it, that normally should be enough. And if you still want to do something underneath, I think there would be better options than plastic, to be honest. But that is a personal taste, and also a thing which I say, just for me personally, an environmental option that I think if you can do things without plastic, then please do them without using plastic. A lot of other brands also have only a sticker or paper wrappers around, and that work very, very well. The pans itself, I don't think they use anything like honey or so. At least I don't ever read any information, and the colors themselves are very dry and hard, not gummy or sticky like you normally have with watercolors, especially when honey is used. So I don't think there's anything like that in it. And also because the color blocks are very hard and dry, you don't really need to have a plastic around it. They won't stick to a paper wrapper. So yeah, the packaging itself is very, very stable. They have used a very good thick cardboard box, which is super sturdy. And there's this foam thing inside where the wooden box rests in without having space to move. So it is very, very safe, and definitely came to me in perfection there, because there is no space for any movement. So definitely a very good packaging system. And also the color blocks can fall out, but if the lid, the magnetic lid, is on, and you put it on the side or upside down, there is not enough space for them to fall out and move in the box. So that is definitely also something very nice, because in some boxes the blocks can fall out and there is enough space between the lid and the colors, so that the blocks can fall out and move, and then you don't have a clue which color is which when you have a lot of dark colors. But that is not the case in here. So the first color was lemon yellow, PY3. They marked it with light fastness 6, so that definitely reduced the light fastness, which is correct. The pigment is not completely light fast, it's more like a mediocre. I probably would give it more like a 5 than a 6 or so, a little bit less light fast, but yeah. Then we have the permanent yellow deep, the color I swatched just now, PY65. They marked it as light fastness 7. They use the blue wool scale. That is maybe something to be aware of. With 8 is the best in light fastness. I know that is a scale which is not very often used, but Roman Schmal, for example, does use the blue wool scale as well. So that was permanent orange, PO13. They marked it as light fastness 7, which would be a good to perfect, and that is definitely not correct. This is more like a 5. So definitely a not light fast color. Then we have the Supervision red, which is PR254 with a light fastness rating from 8. I think that should be correct. That is, when I remember correctly, a very good light fast pigment. So you can definitely see the color selection already with the yellows is not very big in a 24 set. We only have 2 yellow colors and one of them is definitely not light fast. So our primary yellow as not light fast is of course not a perfect condition, that we only have a better light fast pigment which is a very warm dark orangey yellow. I think there is definitely a lack of yellow in here in the set. Also a lack of red, because we have this lighter red, and then we already got this Bordeaux color. So reds and yellows is lacking in the color selection, in my personal opinion. So this is the red Bordeaux. PR31, they marked it as light fastness 7. I'm not quite sure. I know I have colors like that, I think from Schminke and from Daniel Smith. I think that Daniel Smith uses the same pigment, but I'm not quite sure if it's a 31 or 32. But I know that that pigment they've used is also marked as a perfect in light fastness. And I have a site, a homepage where I often look because of light fastness, and because Kimberly Crick, and she's doing 1 year light fastness tests, and there was the Daniel Smith color that definitely fade a lot. So I would mark this one also as non-light fast. I think it is the same pigment. We'll have to look it up. So the next color was quinacridone violet. I don't know why they call it violet, because it looks like a pink color. And if you have seen it on the brush, this is one of the colors. This is a PV19, and normally a PV19 is a complete transparent pigment, but it looked very milky and whitey on the brush. So there is definitely something inside, aside from the PV19. It is not listed on the pigment. It could be a PW5, which is a pigment, of course, but it is also allowed to be used as a filler. And when they use it officially as a filler, then they don't have to list it on the pigment list. So either that or something else, whitish. And yeah, that's one point for in an artist grade color. I expect it to be without any fillers or white pigments. So definitely a negative point in my opinion. Also, it looks very grainy, like it would granulate a little bit, and quinacridone pigments don't granulate. So that is definitely also another reason why I say there is something inside there which is not PB19. The next color was quinacridone magenta PR 122. They are both listed as light fastness 8, which the pigment themselves definitely do have. The last color in the upper row is light purple. It is also marked as a PV19. I know that PV19 because that is the reason why it is marked as a violet and not as a red pigment, can make also violet colors. But this is very unusual in color shade and also has so much an unnatural glow that I say there is definitely some luminescence stuff inside. And they already marked it as light fastness 5. So that is another reason why I say whenever you add some luminous stuff in a color, normally perfect light fast pigment can get completely non-light fast. We see that, for example, in Opera Rose is it the best example for that, and therefore even a light fastness 5 would probably be not already too high. So I would be careful with that color, and I marked it myself as a not light fast color because I think there has to be something inside that makes the color glow that much. So the first color in the second row is dioxazine violet. It's a standard color, PV23. They already also marked it like all the other brands as perfect in light fastness with a light fastness 8, which the pigment definitely don't have. So that is a pigment which is normally not light fast. You have to be careful with that. In washes, it if you mix it with water a lot, it definitely will fade sometimes completely, and even in darker shades it will fade visibly, so be aware of that. The second color is your standard ultramarine blue. It's PB29, light fastness 8, definitely right. Here it is a very low granulating version, just that you know. Then we have a special color that is lake blue. It is PB10. It is marked as light fastness 6. It is definitely a pigment which is not completely light fast, more on the, I think, mediocre side. So that is definitely, I think, more correct rating here. It is a super beautiful, very dark blue. Maybe a little bit more like a light fastness 4 to 5-ish, but I think it is, yeah, close enough. That is definitely something I think is interesting for pigment nerds and collectors, because it's a very rare pigment. You nearly never find it anywhere. I don't know any other brand using a PB10. So yeah, definitely something special here. We have the Prussian blue, which is of course your standard PB27. They also marked it as light fastness 7, which like all other brands here as well, always listed as very good or perfect in light fastness. This is definitely a non-light fast pigment. It will fade, not completely, but very visibly over time. So yeah, be aware of that Prussian blue is not light fast. Then we have another very special color, and that is the sky blue, the light blue I've swatched before, the color I'm swatching now, because that is a PB17. This is a phthalo pigment which was discontinued many years ago. and you still can buy it here with Supervision. You also can buy it as a single tube. Because I've searched for it on AliExpress, I did find a seller offering it as a tube because when I saw that they have this PB17, I had to buy it. When manganese blue was discontinued, as manganese blue was a very good in light fastness, but also a perfect or nearly perfect cyan blue. They said after the discontinued manganese blue, they said use PB17 phthalo, this phthalo pigment, because it is also the other pigment making a perfect cyan blue. But sadly nowadays it is also be discontinued. But like I said, yeah, it is a perfect cyan blue, stunningly beautiful color, great for mixing, and definitely a discontinued pigment, super rare and hard to get, so very special here in the set. The turquoise here is called Turquoise Deep. It is a mix of PB15 phthalo blue, PG7 phthalo green, and PW6 a white. They listed it as light fastness 5, and I have no clue why, because the phthalo pigments are normally excellent in light fastness, and as far as I know, PW6 is also a good or very good in light fastness, so I don't know why the bad rating here. Then we had the permanent green, that is the lighter one, a PY12, definitely a non-light fast pigment, and a PG7 mix. They listed as light fastness 6, but as the PY12 is super bad in light fastness, I would say the yellow part will fade completely over time. So definitely even a 6 is too good in my opinion. Then we have the color called Sap Green, which they listed as PG7, light fastness 7. The thing is, it doesn't look like a PG7. It looks like a phthalo green yellow shade, a PG 36. So I'm not sure how you get a PG7 getting that warm shade of green without adding any yellows in it. So I'm a little bit suspicious here, because the first color I'm swatching just now in the second row is your standard PG7 phthalo green. That does look like a normal phthalo green. It also gets very dark. We have a light fastness rating from 7 here, which is definitely correct. So yeah, that is how a PG7 looks, not that warm shade of green on the upper row. So yeah, like I said, it's even either a printing error or they mixed something in it which they didn't list. So yeah. Then the second color in the last row is the olive green, the color I swatched first. I think I had the problem that they were on in the set that I put them in the wrong places. Olive green is a mixture between PG7, PY12 again, and PY14, which is also not light fast. So the rating from light fast 7 is definitely not correct, because the two yellow pigments will fade completely over time and leave only the PG7 behind. So definitely a beautiful olive green, but not light fast. Then the gold ochre I swatched just now is very beautiful in my personal opinion, because it is a complete, or it looks like a complete transparent color. And yeah, we do have transparent yellow iron oxides from other brands, but they are more on the rare side. There are not many brands offering a transparent version of a yellow or a brown iron oxide. Red iron oxide, on the other hand, we see all the time, like here in the burnt sienna, which is also a PR 101 in a transparent version. They both are marked with light fastness 8, which is correct, because all the iron oxide pigments normally are perfect in light fastness. So yeah, definitely the gold ochre, in my opinion, is super beautiful, and also a little bit on the special side. Then we have here the burnt umber I'm just swatching now, which is a mixture between PY43, PR101 and PBR6. So we have natural probably also the transparent version, like the gold ochre here, because you don't have the muddy feeling which you get if you have a PY43, or they are often very opaque in those mixtures, and I don't like that. So definitely a very beautiful version here. Transparent natural yellow iron oxide, transparent synthetic red iron oxide, and PBr6 is the synthetic brown iron oxide, which is also the pigment they have used here in the masked brown, PBr6. PBr6 are super rare to find. We have it, for example, from Schminke. Their iron oxide brown is also a PBr6, which looks completely different than to the masked brown here. But like I said, PBr6 are super rare. I think I have one also from Daniel Smith, which also looks completely different to the other two. So yeah, super versatile pigment. But yeah, this one definitely, I'm really honest, had me totally hooked, that color, because it looks super special. It granulates very strongly. You have areas which looks more reddish brownish, more brownish, more black. It looks like a mixture of all the different iron oxides a little bit, but it is super beautiful. Absolutely stunning color in my opinion. And then we have the Payne's Gray, and here we have also something special because it is a single pigment Payne's Gray. And the only other brand I have a single pigment Payne's Gray from is My Mary Blue. They have used here a PBK 7. They marked it as light fastness 7, which is of course correct because PBK 7 is a very light fast pigment. Very beautiful shade of the pigment, very bluish, which is not usual for the pigment. So, and the last color we have here is the Ivory Black, and here also there is something special because normally Ivory Black is a non-vegan color because it is made with a PBK 9, which is made from burnt animal bones, but they didn't use the pigment here. They've used the PBK 7, which is the same pigment we have in the Payne's Gray, but now on a very warm instead of a cool bluish shade. And this is a carbon black, which is normally made from burnt plant materials. So definitely, normally Ivory Black is always the color which makes a set non-vegan when they use the PBK 9, which is the standard pigment. But as they didn't use it here, we don't have that problem. So if you're vegan, that could be a big big point to say that is an option. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what they use in their colors additional, but as far as I know, I never read anything that they use honey or ox gall or anything like that in their colors. So yeah. Do, like always, a close-up of all the colors in their dried version. You definitely can see how strongly the masked brown granulates even on this very smooth paper. Yeah. Overall, if you ask my personal opinion, the wooden box, the design of the wooden box is very beautiful. You are able to get pans from other brands in the set. I have tried it because that was, for me personally, the main point I wanted to buy the set, because there are not a lot of wooden box sets out there, but in the most cases the wooden box sets are super expensive. And that set here was not so expensive, and that was for me the main point. I said I wanted to buy this just because I wanted to have the wooden box set and the opportunity to use it also, of course, with other colors in the future. And yeah, so the box design, super beautiful. The colors themselves, like I said, we have here a lot of not light fast colors. We have the lemon yellow, the permanent orange, probably the red Bordeaux, the light purple, the dioxazine violet, the lake blue, the Prussian blue, the permanent yellow, green yellow, and the olive green, which have pigments in them that are not light fast. Then we have the issue that there are some colors, definitely like here with the green violet, which looks a little bit like it granulates, but also you definitely can see it has a not the transparent look it normally has. It appears milky on the brush, so there are definitely, and at least in some of the colors, are some form of fillers used, which downgrades definitely the colors from artist grade to student grade, in my personal opinion, just because we have fillers, we have stuff in there which makes like the quin violet looks granulating, which with a pigment that normally doesn't granulate. We have not very what is the name? Really sorry, missing a word again. Reliable, sorry, had to look that one up. We have not a reliable light fastness rating here, because there are a lot of colors listed as very good or good in light fastness, which are very bad or at least mediocre in light fastness. We have some colors listed mediocre but uses pigments that have an excellent light fastness rating. That is also something I don't understand. So also the reliability is not so good. And this is not only something with this set, but which I have seen with the brand themselves over the years. So that is also something, in my personal opinion, which downgrades the colors themselves a little bit, just because we all have pigments that are marked in all brands as non-light fast, as light fast, but are non-light fast. That is a problem we do have, because often the pigments are only tested in their light fastness with opaque medias like oil colors, and in transparent medias like watercolors, they behave sometimes a little bit different. And we do get this difference then, like the Prussian blue, for example. But those are very few cases. We have, for example, Prussian blue or dioxazine violet or PR 177, which are listed as very good in light fastness when it is really bad or mediocre. There are very few cases normally, but we have a lot of discrepancies here with the light fastness. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 11 colors where I say the light fastness rating is not correct from 24. That is a lot. And that is something I say, if there's 1 or 2 colors which other artist grade paints handle the same, then that would be okay, but not so many. That is definitely a definitive big minus point in my opinion, especially that is a set that is in their color choice made also to be used for beginners, because you have a big variety of colors in it. Like I said, I think it is lacking on the yellow and the red department, but the rest, the selection of blues, greens and earth colors are nice, and you could use it or buy it. And when you say, okay, I want to start with watercolor, and you have no clue at pigments at all. So this is a set with where people maybe buy or use when they don't have any experience and of course don't have any clue about pigments and light fastness rating. And then you have to rely on the company that they say or list it as correctly. But when nearly half the colors are listed not correct, that is a lot. And if you are working with the set and having no clue and hanging your artwork on the wall, and a half year later nearly half of the colors are fading, then that is very frustrating and something that shouldn't happen. And that is also a big minus point in my personal opinion. The quality of the paints are very mixed. There are some colors which are perfectly very nice to handle with. The feeling is very good. And then you have colors like the Quin Violet, which is feels just wrong and strange, like there is a lot of white in it, or any kind of other fillers which makes the color white and behaving completely different. And so yeah, definitely also the point where I say, for me personally, the brand itself, because I have not only the experience with this set of colors, I have various sets from the brand. I know that they are more on student grade level, and not one where I say they are on the top row, but more like because of the overall experience. Not, there are of course colors, single colors where I say they would perfectly fit in a much better setting, in a lot higher quality, but I have to look all the colors. And when I look at all the colors, not only here but also from the brand, all the sets I do have, I would say they are more like a middle field player in the student grade set. A good choice if you are aware of the pigments, which are really not light fast. So either you know them by yourself, or you watch a video like that and know, okay, I have to be careful with this, 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 and this color. And I also do know that a lot of colors from the brands are mixes with white. We don't have a lot of official white mixes in here in this set, and we don't have a lot of colors in here which are not officially mixed with white, like the Quin Violet, but there are a lot of white mixes in the whole brand. They do have a lot of pastel colors and stuff like that. That is definitely something not everybody likes. So that is also something to be aware of when buying a set of the brand. I don't say don't buy the brand. They do have some very beautiful sets and some very beautiful colors, definitely. But you definitely have to be careful with the light fastness. And if you are not a fan of white mixes, then you have to look what you really want to buy. Yeah, I will definitely do videos about the other sets I do have from the brand. But yeah, that is definitely something. It is very important for me to get all the information out and to be very honest about what I do like and what I don't like, and what to be careful with. Just that you don't buy things and afterwards you are not satisfied with the product. So that's the reason why I really, really hope that the video is helpful and interesting as well. And yeah, I would absolutely love to hear your personal opinion about the brand, if you have any experience with it, or after the video. And of course also, do you have a set with a wooden box? And when you do have, do you like it? Which one do you have? Or how do you like the wooden box from this set, the design? I think it is very neat and beautiful. Yeah. For me personally, special colors I want to mention in the set here are the lake blue, just because PB10 is a super rare pigment. The PB17 sky blue, because it is a very long time ago discontinued pigment. The gold ochre and the Mars brown, because they are very beautiful versions of the pigment, and also a little bit more on the rarer side in that version. Or like I said, PBR6 is also a pigment which is not very often seen, and I have 3 different versions and they all look completely different. So yeah, that were the colors that were special, which I wanted to mention. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, if you haven't already left a follow on my channel, I would very appreciate that, because it really helps me in the channel, as well as a thumbs up if you want. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Wish you a wonderful day and take good care of yourself, and I hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. Bye bye.